The self-talk that needs to go down for you to follow through, to commit to the things you said you was going to do, but most importantly to show up for yourself. The self-talk, the way you have to just keep, like, every time something bad or negative happens, you got to be like, you got to get up out of that.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced. See, no one else can do like you do. That's why I'm mine. Spend my life with you. I wanna please you in any way I can. I wanna share my world. Don't you understand? Love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give all day long. Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on
and on. Yeah! Hi, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Full Cup, where we are pouring into mind, body, soul. All things wellness, all things intentional, and all things healing. Joy. So I'm so excited. We're on episode 2. Look at the consistency. I'm proud of myself. I recently started waking up at 5 a.m. and doing a 90-minute morning routine. That's been looking like 20 minutes of journaling, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of stretching, 10 minutes of EFT tapping with Brad Yates on YouTube. Y'all gotta do that. If you don't know what EFT tapping is, it is emotional freedom technique tapping. You tap on certain parts of your body and it helps you change your subconscious thinking. So if you're naturally a negative thinker or you want to just change the narrative, the story, the self-talk in your head, EFT tapping is that girl. She's really that girl. But yes, I do 10 minutes of EFT tapping and then 10 minutes of meditation and 10 minutes of setting my intentions for the day. How do I want to feel? What's my big 3? What are the goals? Just all of that, because I feel like when we go into the day already knowing what we want to accomplish, how we want to feel, how do we want to show up, we're more likely to show up in that way. So I know it sounds like a lot, like, oh my God, 90 minutes, but on the days that I'm rushing, she's a 60-minute girl or a 30-minute girl and everything is condensed to 5 minutes. So I always try to meet myself where I'm at. I highly recommend y'all to do the same. Create like 3 different morning tiers. This is my 90, my 60, my 30, or even my 15 or my 20. Do what feels right to you, but regardless, get centered, get grounded, get rooted before we even engage or interact with the world. It really makes such a huge difference. I'm so grateful that I've been doing that. But okay, I'm done ranting. But y'all, tell me what y'all sipping on today. Are we having a smoothie, a juice, some tea, kombucha, water? Just what's in your cup? What are we drinking? How are we hydrating and pouring into ourselves? But yes, we are back to reading When You're Ready. This is How You Heal by Brianna Wies. Now, what did you guys think about the last chapter? I really was like, whoa, this is so good. I rewatched it back and was like, this was actually a really good chapter. And I started already pre-reading the next chapter. I already read this book, but I like to read it before here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. All right. So the title of this chapter is The Greatest Healing Often Happens in the Most Ordinary Ways. I can agree with that. Yeah, we can agree with that. Like, it does happen day to day. Now she begins with, when you begin your healing journey, you will be searching for epiphanies, life-changing, soul-opening, mind-bending truths, drastic changes, rapid uprooting, the fierce releasing of what you can no longer stand, and the obsessive need to find something that makes you feel a little better, even if it's just for a moment. One of the most subtle challenges will be that the thick of it often happens in the most ordinary ways. It's about setting an intention to heal, writing it down with a piece of paper somewhere you see often, realizing that nobody knows what to do at the beginning, so sometimes the most powerful way you can begin is by making a statement to the universe about what you're going to do. Didn't I just say that about the morning routine? Literally, like setting the intention in the morning routine, like this is what I'm about to do. Even if you don't get it done, it still was the intention. Like you still already put it in the atmosphere out into the physical world that no matter what, this is what I want or this is what I'm striving for. Okay, keep going, girl. It's about carving out space for deep rest. The deepest rest you've ever given yourself. It's about realizing that your body knows what to do and your job is to support it, to step out of the way. It's about changing your environment, both in big ways and small. This might mean moving. It might mean cleansing your space of relics so you are no longer living in a museum of the past. It's about realizing that you will adapt to what's around you, and so you must choose wisely. You must create even just one corner of peace within your own world, recognizing finally that home was never a place that existed anywhere outside of your own heart. Woo, we like that. Okay. It's about doing the practical things, the budgeting and the blood tests, the doctor's appointments and the making of the plans, the calendar and the emails, the supplements and the exercise routine, however simple they may be at first. These things are often the first to be cast aside when we are hurting, and yet they are also the most vital. It's about finding the kind of support that's right for you. The trainer, the therapist, the life coach, the holistic nutritionist, whatever is needed for your own unique journey. It's about rediscovering the little joys of life, the long baths, the page-turning novels, the quiet Saturday mornings, the clean sheets, the stars, the city lights, the ocean, and realizing that they were the big things all along. It's about affirming what you want to be true and knowing somewhere deep inside that it already is. It's about visualizing your future self and being willing to believe that maybe, just maybe, that person could be real. It's about standing up for yourself when it's necessary and recognizing all of the times when you're misinterpreting a mindless comment as a slight. These things all require deep levels of self-awareness, evaluation, and consciousness. It's about recognizing that the heat of your trauma is trying to prevent you from living your life. Somewhere deep down, you know that when you go out and try to make your way in the world, everything goes wrong. So your fear is trying to lock you down and it's trying to keep you safe. What it does not know is that there is no greater failure than a life unlived. There is no greater pain than having your heart go unloved and your soul unseen. Oh, it's about choosing not to give your mental attention and emotional energy to things that will not grow into experiences you want to be having. It's about realizing that you can construct a new dream. It's about releasing who you are in the smallest ways and realizing that sometimes the most ordinary things are the most defining, the most saving, the most soothing, the most important, the most overlooked, and the most real. Okay. So she starts off the next section like, when you are ready to change your life, read this. Okay, we read it. Right. So, what if in the moments you feel most alone, you begin to realize that you are also free? What if you could see that in these very moments you fear most, you are also completely unburdened from the expectations of others, able to define and redefine yourself, to explore life on your own terms, to hear the sound of your own voice? What if being on your own in any capacity is a sign of self-sufficiency and courage? What if you already made it? What if instead of believing your aloneness is a sign that you have failed, you realize that it is proof you have accomplished the most daring task of it all? What if instead of believing that your job is not enough and compensation and status and whatever you've chalked up your inferiority up to be, you begin to realize that no set of tasks could ever define the whole of who you are? What if you begin to understand that a job is a means to an end, and you doing anything to contribute to you or your family's well-being and security is important and yet only one facet of success? What if instead of believing that you have to be the best to be good enough, you realize that to have somewhere to wake up and go, something to wake up and do, is a purpose and a gift that should never be taken for granted? What if, instead of believing that you have failed, you begin to recognize that failure is just life's way of moving you in another direction? What if instead of counting up all the times things haven't worked out precisely the way you imagined, you considered that perhaps you were being led somewhere better? What if you found awe and reverence in the fact that there is a force so powerful protecting you, perhaps one you cannot even name or see or even believe in, that is refusing you to let you have even the things you beg hardest for because there is something else you are so destined for? What if instead of thinking that your life was meant to be unfold seamlessly, you realize that the courage it takes to keep opening doors, even if they all close, is a part of the process? What if instead of losing hope in the world and life itself, you allowed your failures to strengthen your faith, making you see that there is a path for you to walk and a force field holding you to it, no matter how hard you may try to get off? Okay, all right. What if instead of begrudging someone for not being precisely the person you imagined they would be, You realize that the offering of someone's time is the ultimate sacrifice and the epitome of love. What if you realize that they are under no obligation to be who you think they should be, and the most loving thing you could do would be to set them free of the expectation you hold of them in your mind? What if you realize that they don't have to be just as you imagine in order for you to exchange the love you are meant to share? What if the gift you're receiving right now is the chance to witness the rawness of someone's heart, their edges, and their imperfections? What if the journey is really asking you to love a flawed person so you might be able to love your own flaws the same way? What if the life of your dreams is not one where you do all things perfectly for an audience, but one where you have very few things you care about deeply and passionately about, and spend your life tending to them, releasing into the nothingness of all the other cares that did nothing but hold you back from your own love and your own life? She's really spitting right now. Okay. What if your body appears precisely the way it is meant to, but you are so busy focusing on the flaws that nobody else notices, you're overlooking the beauty everyone else sees? What if all you needed to do was simply look around you, to the people you know, the people you don't, the people who coexist in the world beside you? What if you truly began to realize that almost nobody exists within that fantasy, and yet so many are still deeply and completely loved, fully alive and happy, walking in their truth and thriving as all they were meant to be? I'm not saying that there aren't real problems in your life, only that it's very hard to actually identify those problems when you're so busy trying to correct non-issues, so preoccupied with questions that have no answers. You could spend your entire lifetime wondering if you are worthy and enough and beautiful and successful, and you will never come up with anything concrete. So you have a choice. You have a choice of how you will build your own perception around what exists. What if cleansing your mind with hopeful, joyful, positive thoughts is the rebalancing that's been long overdue after so many years of existence solely within the most negative interpretations you can come up with? Oh, she's attacking negative thinking. What if, after an entire lifetime of being sold the idea that the point of your life is to exist as perfectly as possible, you can now open up to the notion that perhaps you are instead here to enjoy the ride while you're still on it? Oh, okay, so we're going to get into one last section. This year, let go of the people who aren't ready to love you. I had to reread that 3 times. Let go of the people who are not ready to love you. That really applies to everyone, not only romantic relationships. It applies to friends. It even applies to certain family members. Release the expectation of them wanting to love you in the way that you want to be loved. Distance yourself. Love them from a distance. Back up from them. For real, back up from them. It's really going to make such a huge difference. I hope I didn't mess up my sound. Hold on. Okay, I didn't mess up my sound. All right, so this year, let go of the people who aren't ready to love you. It is the hardest thing you will ever have to do, and it will also be the most important thing. Stop giving your love to those who aren't ready to love you. Stop having hard conversations with people who don't want to change. Stop showing up for people who are indifferent about your presence. Stop prioritizing people who make you feel like an option. Stop loving people who aren't ready to love you. I know that your instinct is to do whatever you can to earn the good graces of everyone you can, but that is also the impulse that will rob you of your time, your energy, and your sanity. When you start showing up to your life wholly and completely with joy and interest and commitment, not everyone is going to be ready to meet you there. It doesn't mean you need to change who you are. It means you need to stop loving people who aren't ready to love you. If you're left out, subtly insulted, mindlessly forgotten about, or easily disregarded by the people you spend the most time with, you're doing yourself an incredible disservice by continuing to offer your energy and your life to them. You are not for everyone, and everyone is not for you. That's what makes it so special when you do find the people with whom you have a genuine friendship, love, or relationship with. You'll know how precious it is because you've experienced what it isn't. Oh my God, she's going in. But the longer you spend trying to force someone to love you when they aren't capable, the longer you're robbing yourself of that very connection. It is waiting for you. There are billions of people on this planet, and yet so many of them are going to meet you at your level, vibe where you are, connect with where you're going. But the longer you stay small, tucked into the familiar of the people who use you as a cushion, a back burner option, a therapist, and a ploy for their emotional labor, the longer you keep yourself out of the community you crave. And then she goes on to say, maybe if you stop showing up, you'll be less liked. Maybe you'll be forgotten about altogether. Maybe if you stop trying, the relationship will cease. Maybe if you stop texting, your phone will stay dark for days and weeks. Maybe if you stop loving someone, the love between you two will dissolve. That doesn't mean you ruined a relationship. It means that the only thing sustaining a relationship was the energy you and you alone were putting into it. Oh my God. That doesn't mean you ruined a relationship. It means the energy you and you alone was putting into it that's all it was. That's all it was. That's not love. That's attachment. The most precious, important thing you have in your life is your energy. And that's a fact. That's a big fact. That's also why it's important for you to eat colorfully, eat for energy, eat nutrient-dense foods, always have greens with every single meal. Start the day off with fruits, making sure that you're always having vitamins, nutrients, colors, vibrancy. It literally allows you to operate on a higher frequency. It gives you energy. It's very, very abundant. But okay, back to the book. It is not that your time is limited. It is your energy. What you give it to each day is what you will create more and more of in your life. What you give your time to is what will define your existence. When you realize this, you'll begin to understand why you're so anxious when you spend your time with people who are wrong for you and in jobs or places or cities that are wrong too. Real quick, hold on. I had to pause because that's exactly how I felt in New York City. When I lived in my Brooklyn brownstone apartment, I was always so anxious, so stressed out, so overwhelmed, easily irritated, things that are totally outside of my innate character. I'm usually very joyful, very energetic, very happy, very optimistic. But for some reason, I was just always rigid and tight and like I needed to just go. I needed to just do something. I needed to just buy something. I needed to just go out, have drinks, go out to eat. I always needed to do something to make up for the fact that I was so anxious and stressed and overwhelmed and unhappy in a city. A city will tell you everything you need to know. Your nervous system will tell you everything you need to know about a person, about a job, about a city, even about an animal. It will tell you everything you need to know. If you are hyperstimulated or it doesn't feel right or you feel yourself nervous and anxious, it's not for you. It's not for you. Anything that's for you is not going to make you feel super uncomfortable. It's not. The most that we should feel is like eager and excitement and like, oh, I'm about to do this. But no, you shouldn't feel like worry and dreading things. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but your city can really have an impact on your mental and emotional health because your nervous system is being hijacked, and we don't want that. We don't want that. Visit other places, save your money, make sure you travel, and go. Go. Okay, back to scheduled programming. You'll begin to realize that the foremost important thing you can do for your life and yourself and everyone you know is to protect your energy more fiercely than anything else. Make your life a safe haven in which only people that have the capacity to care and listen and connect are allowed. You are not responsible for saving people. I needed to hear that. I really needed to hear that. I'm not even going to lie. You are not responsible for convincing them that they want to be saved. It is not your job to show up for people and give away your life to them little by little, moment by moment, because you pity them, because you feel bad, because you should, because you're obligated, because at the root of it all, you're afraid not to be liked back. Oh my God. She's attacking all the people pleasers. As a recovering people pleaser, I personally feel attacked right now because it is a journey. It is a daily practice to choose yourself, to have better boundaries, to say yes to yourself. It is a practice, and it is a series of daily choices. But she is going in because she continues to say, it is your job to realize that you are the master of your fate and that you are accepting the love you think you're worthy of. Decide right now that you're deserving of a real friendship, true commitment, and complete love with people who are healthy and thriving. Oh, that makes me feel a little weird. I'm not going to lie, because Sometimes I feel two things. One, who are we to decide whether somebody else is healthy and thriving? And then two, it's like, damn, are people who are not healthy and not thriving, are they not worthy of love? Are they not worthy of my time and energy? When does grace come into the conversation? So those are some of the things I'm thinking about when I read this. But one thing that I will say when it comes down to new friendships and relationships that I've been starting is that I feel like you need to earn grace. And in order to earn grace, there needs to be a lot of time there. Like with new friendships, we 1 month, 3 months, and it's just not enough time to really earn a lot of grace. Like a little bit here and there, but like not too much. Don't just have people walk all over you. Have people earn grace from you. Earn your love. Earn it. Just don't give it out willy-nilly in hopes that they will like you back or they will give it back to you. That's one thing I'm learning is like, I need to slow things down in relationships and allow them to show me who they are. The idea in my head is, of course they're nice. Of course they're considerate. Of course they'll be willing to give and do. No, people don't. People don't. Just because I am, that don't mean people are. And I need to read the room. And the only thing that really helps me read the room is time. It's time. And as an Aries, as a fire sign, as somebody that's impulsive and I want to give 100% love and love. No, time. Space it out. Pace yourself. Time. Time tells you a lot. Time is a tattletailer. Time is going to tell you exactly what it is. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but allowing time to come in and do its thing gives you the energetic and emotional capital to read the room better. So we got to let time do its thing. We got to let time just come in and do its thing. Okay. Then she goes on to say, then wait in the darkness just for a little bit. Pete, she's talking about waiting too. And watch how quickly everything begins to change. Oh my God. How nice was this? How nice is this? We're going to stop here because the next chapter is 47 ways to practice micro healing in your everyday life. And I feel like that's something that we could like really, really get into on its own. So we're going to stop here, but y'all, what do you think? Because for me, this felt like a calm love letter, like a really nice hug to anybody who has anxiety, who people pleases, who plays small, who takes what they can get, who just shrinks in a room full of people. Like this felt like a hug, like a letter to them, a letter to us. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Tell me what y'all took away from this. Drop it down below in the comments. Make sure you are hydrating yourself. You are pouring into yourself today. What is one thing that we are focused on in this healing journey? What's one thing you want to start adding to your life and actively practicing from this book? Just please put me in the comments. Let's make this a conversation. Let's talk the talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the second episode of Full Cup, where we are pouring into mind, body, soul. If you haven't already, start the 75 hard challenge. I am on day 22 and I feel so good. I literally feel so good. I feel like I'm on one right now. And the fact that I feel addicted to this energy is just like, I don't know why I didn't stop drinking and working out twice a day and spending more time in nature and reading and drinking more water. I just feel extremely abundant. And I just feel like this is a feeling everyone needs to feel. So y'all, you can start whenever you're ready. Start your 75 hard, the holistic challenge, of course, because we are eating colorful, living colorful, and doing all things for energy drawer. So yes, y'all, this is it for this. And I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Whoa, wait, I'm gonna throw this at the end of the vlog, but just now, that was one of the hardest recording sessions I've ever had to do. For some reason, like the words wasn't coming out of my mouth. Like I just felt like I didn't sound right. It just was really hard for me to push through. I had to keep pausing to meditate. Y'all don't see this on camera, but I had to keep pausing to meditate, to keep telling myself that I am doing the right thing, that this is what I want to do, that I know reading on YouTube is kind of weird, but you got to do it. Like it's a book that you love. You think it can help people. Like the self-talk, and this is why this book is also important, but the self-talk that needs to go down for you to follow through, to commit to the things you said you was going to do, but most importantly to show up for yourself. The self-talk, the way you have to just keep, like every time something bad or negative happens, you got to be like, you gotta get up out of that like immediately. And it was really hard. It was honestly really hard for me to get out of, but I'm so glad that I did it. We pushed through, we did it. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but push through, show up and do the things you say you're gonna do. Because also too, the last thing I want to say about this is I feel like I have so much more confidence in myself. I feel rejuvenated, like alive again. Like, oh, okay, I could trust myself. Okay, I said I was gonna do something and I did it. I could rely on myself. I could show up. I'm that girl. I deserve the things that I'm asking for. Like all of that happens. All of that confidence, self-trust happens. But yes, I am finally ending the vlog here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that this helped or inspired or encouraged someone to step more into themselves. And big love, not the little one.